Hi, welcome to Rusty Lizard Designs, a unique shop experience. Today we're going to be looking at the Grizzly G0860 dust collection system. So head over to grizzly.com and check out the G0860. You can get all the specs there, order all the accessories and stuff. I'll put a link down in the notes. But this dust collector is 1.5 horsepower. It can be wired either 220 or 110. It comes wired for 110 out of the box. It features a 1 micron filtration canister filter, the cyclone separation, and it boasts 868 cubic feet per minute. It also comes with dual 4-inch ports, or you can remove that and have one 6-inch port. And it comes equipped with a built-in remote control, which is really nice. You don't have to buy anything extra for that. It costs about $1,100. I think they're running some sales now, plus shipping. Shipping is going to cost you a couple $100 or something like that. I had to meet mine off-site because they couldn't get an 18-wheeler to me, which is often the case. But I just met with the driver and offloaded it to my trailer. So this is going to be a build. So I'm going to take it out of the box, build the dust collection system, and then give it a test. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Make way, lady with a baby. Make way. Next on the scene, the Grizzly dust collection system. So I went down and met the 18-wheeler, picked up this thing on my trailer. It's got 3 boxes. Looks like this is just the canister filter, so I'm going to set this box aside, get into these guys, find the instruction manual, and get this thing put together for some much needed relief in the shop. I'm only filming this because it's probably going to be funny. So I'm taking out the motor assembly now, which is the heaviest part of the entire unit. And this will prove challenging a little bit later. I have to get my shop crane involved. So I unboxed everything. I got everything laid out. I pulled the plastic off of everything. Just got everything organized. It just makes it so much easier to see what parts are what, know where they are, and you don't have to go looking for them. It just takes a few minutes to unbox all this stuff, but it's a lot easier to do it this way, get it organized, put things in a nice stack, and get rid of all that packaging material, get it out of your workspace, and it just makes it a little bit easier to go. I've got my hardware kit laid out on my router table with the instructions and I think all the tools that I'm going to need. And I've also set up a little Craftsman work table with the base assembly on it so I can start affixing the casters to that base assembly. Bolting the casters to the mobile base was very straightforward. Just flip the mobile base upside down and bolt them in. So after getting all the supports bolted to the mobile base, I had to turn around one of the silver supports to allow the mechanical lifting mechanism to work properly. And that's what I'm doing here. Assembly was straightforward, just bolt it to the base. The green pieces have 4 bolts per piece, and the silver supports had 2 bolts. So my dilemma is to get this thing up there. It's pretty heavy. I have a shop crane. I think I'm going to get that out and see if I can rig up something to lift it where it needs to be, thus saving me from an ER visit, another ER visit. This is the heaviest assembly of the entire apparatus. It's more than I can lift and hold in place while getting bolts under it. And this has to be lifted up 4 or 5 feet in the air and sit on top of the mobile base and the supports coming off of that. So I just got out my shop crane, aka the engine hoist, and I added a boom extension off the end of it to get a little more height on it. And I was able to pop that up in the air, slide the mobile base underneath of it, and then lower it down slowly till it made contact, and then I was able to shimmy everything around, get all the bolts lined up, tighten down, and then retightened on the base. And that just made it easy peasy. So if you don't have a shop crane or something like that, you may want to look at investing in something like that. Very useful. The instruction manual does say to get a friend to help lift that. I think 2 people may be a little understaffed because once you get it up on top of those supports, you also have to jiggle it around to get the bolts to line up. And it takes a little bit of effort to muscle that thing up there, and then to hold it steady with one person while the other person jiggles may be a little much. So I used the shop crane. It was easy peasy. I suggest you do as well. I'm attaching the metal input ring to the bottom of the green motor housing, and on the bottom of this input ring will also be the cyclone separator. Looks like a big metal funnel. This would certainly be easier with 2 people, but the average person can do it by themselves. You just have to hold it up there and get a couple of bolts started, one on either side, and that way you can let it hang while you start the other bolts. The cyclone separator, aka the big white funnel, gets bolted on underneath of the input ring, and it is also very straightforward. The green handle that I'm installing will lift the debris drum up and down, secure it to the dust collector, or lower it to the ground so you can roll it away and dump it. I use the supplied hose clamps to attach the short length of 6-inch diameter flexible hose to the bottom of the cyclone separator and the top of the drum. 4 adjustable casters are easily screwed into the bottom of the drum assembly. I'm dropping the vacuum ring into the bottom of the drum, and I'm also securing the clamp levers to the top of the drum. Those toggle clamps will secure the drum to the bottom of that lid. I then secured the small flexible hose from the top of the dust collector to the bottom of the debris drum, and there's enough of that flexible hose so you can roll the drum out to remove the bag out of the drum. And it works with that ring that I dropped in earlier, so it pulls a vacuum on the bottom of that bag that will be inserted into this drum. I unhooked the shop crane, pulled the dust collector out and rotated it. Now I'm going to work on the filtration side. Alright, so it required the assistance of an assistant to hold the filter assembly up in place so I can bolt it in. So my assistant is a piece of rope going up into the rafters so I can bolt it in. So let me get to that. I was able to run that rope from the rafters down through the green motor housing into the canister filter and secured the rope to some cross bracing or something in there. And then I hoisted it up in place, tied it off, inserted the screws to secure the canister filter, and then removed the rope. So what you can't see here is I've installed the wiper mechanism inside the canister filter, and it has a vertical shaft that protrudes through that green circular disc on top. However, I had to chase the threads in the motor housing to allow me to bolt that circular disc on. And then once I got those bolts secured, then I was able to put the wiper handle on. I'm installing the final dust collection bag, and this bag will trap all the debris that is larger than 1 micron but smaller than what the cyclone separator is pulling out. Okay, after final assembly, I plugged it up and turned it on and started listening to it. Just listening for any weird sounds, and then I started feeling all the various components, make sure everything worked okay, and if there was any weird vibrations with any specific component. So everything is running smooth. The motor's smooth. There wasn't any noises or vibrations in the housing. The cyclone separator and the vacuum assembly was working fine. Lifted up and down on the drum. All that is great. So it's time to put this unit into service. So this kind of made for a long afternoon, but it was well worth it. This Grizzly G0860 dust collection machine, it's a quality machine built of heavy gauge steel with quality workmanship, and I would recommend it to anybody that's got a small shop that needs some quality dust collection. Very pleased with this purchase. Thank you, Grizzly. I only had a couple of assembly issues. One is I was missing 3 bolts. Not a problem. I had those bolts on hand. They were common size. And the other issue is I had to chase some of the threads in some of the painted surfaces to allow me to get the bolt started. Not a big deal. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. And also down in the comments, let me know if you caught my dance moves. Thanks a lot.